Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news tonight on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines. Election dates are declared for Gujarat Assembly. Polls are to be held in two phases on the 9th and 14th of December. Announcement brings into force model code of conduct in the state. Army operations in Jammu and Kashmir will continue against terrorists, says Army Chief General Bipin Rawat. Maintains that government strategy on Jammu and Kashmir has improved the situation in the state. Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari announces Bharat Mala highway construction project, asserts that the massive infrastructure project will contribute 2 to 3% to the GDP and create lakhs of jobs. And India and the United States ask Pakistan to dismantle terror safe havens in the country. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj and US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson call for concrete action against terror groups. Well, the poll dates for Gujarat Assembly are out. The state will go to polls in two phases on the 9th and 14th of December. The Chief Election Commissioner made the announcement at a press conference in New Delhi today. Here are the details.
The Election Commission making the most awaited announcement of this election season.
The polling would be conducted in two phases. The date of issue of a gazette notification for the first phase would be 14th November 2017, that is Tuesday. The date of polling would be 9th December 2017, which would be Saturday. As far as the second phase of assembly is concerned, it will consist of 93 assembly constituencies and there will be 14 districts. The date of gazette notification would be 20th November 17 and date of polling would be 14th December 17, which would be Thursday. The date of counting will be 18th December for both the phases.
Chief Election Commissioner A.K. Jyoti announced that the Election Commission will be using VVPAT machines in all the 50,128 polling stations for 4.27 crore voters in the state to ensure transparency.
The polling in the state would be conducted at all the 50,128 polling stations using EVMs and also the VVPATs.
The announcement brings into force the Model Code of Conduct in Gujarat. Starting Wednesday, all big election rallies in the state will be recorded. CCTV cameras will be installed at border checkpoints. The Income Tax Department will also keep a close watch on the election expenses of candidates.
The candidates would be required to open a separate bank account and incur their election expenses from this particular bank account. The Investigation Directorate of Income Tax has been asked to open Air Intelligence Units, that is in short AIU, in all the ports of the state.
Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani said that the BJP is well prepared for the polls.
हम स्वागत करते हैं, तैयार हैं और मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि हम 3/4 यानी कि 3/4 मेजॉरिटी से भारतीय जनता पार्टी जीतेगी और भारतीय जनता पार्टी आने वाले दिन में अच्छी सरकार बनाएगी.
The opposition, however, questioned the delay in announcement of poll dates, saying that it was done to help the centre announce SOPs for the state.
जिस तरीके से डिले करते जा रहे थे, उसके वजह से उसके ऊपर प्रश्न चिन्ह उठा. अब ये जिम्मेदारी उन पे है, ये संवैधानिक जिम्मेदारी है और संवैधानिक जिम्मेदारी उनके अलावा और किसी पे नहीं कि निष्पक्ष चुनाव करवाए.
सिर्फ घोषणा हो गई लुभावनी, व्यापारियों के भी उन्होंने कर दी और भी कर दी, तमाम बैंकों को सुदृढ़ीकरण करने के बाद कर दी. तब क्या मैं नहीं समझ पाया कि उस समय क्यों नहीं घोषणा की थी जब हिमाचल की घोषणा की.
The Election Commission has maintained that the delay was caused by floods and relief efforts in several districts in Gujarat. Panchanan Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, 2 days after the government appointed its special representative to restart the Kashmir dialogue process, Army Chief Bipin Rawat today said that the appointment of interlocutor for Jammu and Kashmir will not impact army operations in the state. Rawat was speaking at the FICCI seminar in New Delhi. Meanwhile, security forces launched a massive search operation in over 12 villages in the state's Shopian district.
The army operations in Jammu and Kashmir will continue, says Army Chief General Bipin Rawat, who maintained on Tuesday that the government strategy on Kashmir has put it in a position of strength. The Army Chief's reaction comes 2 days after the centre named former IB chief to restart the dialogue process in the state.
The policy of the government has worked. The government is speaking from a position of strength. सरकार ने इंटरलोकेटर उनको नियुक्त किया है, उनको टास्किंग उन्होंने दी है, तो किस तरह से वो काम करेंगे, थोड़ा इंटरलोकेटर को बैठ के टाइम दीजिए.
General Rawat said the government's policy on Jammu and Kashmir has improved overall situation in the state. He also spoke on the need to deploy robust intelligence systems to prevent terrorist incidents like Uri and Pathankot.
वो भी सुधार हो रहा है सब चीजों में, हर एक चीज में सुधार हो रहा है. इन्फिल्ट्रेशन घटा है उसके कारण और सब चीजों में सुधार आया है. इन्फिल्ट्रेशन जो है टेररिस्ट को हमने बॉर्डर पे मारा है, लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल पे, और उसके वजह से सुधार आया है. अंदरूनी जो हालत है आप देख लीजिए. ये मैं नहीं कहूंगा कि एक बार हमला हुआ, दो बार हमला हुआ, आगे हमला नहीं होगा. हमें सतर्क रहना है, तैयार रहना है, और तैयारी हमेशा रहनी चाहिए. ये मेरा मकसद है.
In another development, security forces launched search operations in several villages of South Kashmir's Shopian district.
साउथ कश्मीर में जैसे कि आपको पता है पिछले एक वीक में टेररिस्ट ने कुछ सिविलियंस को भी टारगेट किया है, पॉलिटिकल वर्कर और गवर्नमेंट ऑफिशियल्स को भी टारगेट किया है, और इस इलाके में काफ़ी टेररिस्ट के मौजूद होने की समाचार है आर्मी के पास. उसके मद्देनजर ये सीआरपीएफ, पुलिस और आर्मी ने एक सर्च ऑपरेशन जारी किया.
The massive operation comes in the wake of recent militant attacks in South Kashmir. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
Well, the Bharatiya Janata Party has decided to counter the opposition party's protests on November 8th. Addressing the media on Wednesday, Union Finance Minister Arun Jaitley said that the party will celebrate the day as Anti-Black Money Day. Jaitley further said that the people who deposited money disproportionate to their income are now being forced to pay taxes. He also informed that not the confiscation of money but squeezing the quantum of cash was the objective of demonetization. The finance minister also said that post the implementation of the goods and services tax in the nation, a new transition phase had heralded in the country which would make cash generation difficult.
और इसलिए पार्टी ने यह तय किया है कि 8 नवंबर 2017 को भारतीय जनता पार्टी पूरे देश में एंटी ब्लैक मनी डे, काला धन विरोधी दिवस मनाएगी. आठ नवंबर को पार्टी के सभी प्रमुख नेता देश भर में भ्रमण करेंगे और पार्टी की ओर से, पार्टी के मंच से देश भर में उनके कार्यक्रम आयोजित किए जाएंगे. और जो कदम हम लोगों ने उठाए हैं इस दिशा में, उनको हम लोग हाईलाइट करेंगे.
Vice President Venkaiah Naidu has said that India is creating a vibrant ecosystem for entrepreneurs across the globe by its policies. Addressing a conference of entrepreneurs organization in Hyderabad, he said that red tapeism has come to an end and investors are being given a red carpet welcome.
Addressing a conference organized by the Entrepreneurs Organization at Hyderabad International Convention Center, Vice President Venkaiah Naidu said that India is focused on job creation.
India is striving to provide the requisite skills and create a conducive environment for youth to enter the world of work either as employees or employers. The government has launched a number of initiatives in this direction: Skill India, Startup India, Make in India. They intend to help build an ecosystem for nurturing entrepreneurship in our country. Steps are also being taken for making it easy to start and run business.
Vice President said that young population in India has huge opportunities in entrepreneurship and the central and state governments are helping the youth create wealth. He further added that the government has killed red tapeism in issuing approvals for various schemes.
They must be given an opportunity to acquire new skills and update old ones. They must be encouraged to take risks, to connect with the peers and incubators. More women and underrepresented groups must be motivated to join the world of work. This is the responsive, vibrant ecosystem that needs to be established everywhere.
Naidu also asked all participants to focus on creating technologies which in the long run can benefit mankind. He urged entrepreneurs to make use of government policies to create opportunities for the youth. The Vice President is on a 4-day visit to Hyderabad and Mumbai. Raj Kamal's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari unveiled the ambitious highway construction Bharat Mala project, calling it the biggest ever infrastructural project undertaken in the country. Gadkari said it will contribute 2 to 3% to GDP and create lakhs of jobs.
The government has approved the biggest highway construction plan so far in the country to develop approximately 83,677 kilometers of roads at an investment of 6.92 lakh crore rupees by 2022. Bharat Mala is the biggest ever road building program after the National Highways Development Project that saw the development of about 50,000 kilometers of roadways. Bharat Mala aims to improve connectivity in border and other areas. The project includes 9,000 kilometers of economic corridor to smoothen connectivity between manufacturing hubs.
देश के इतिहास में आज तक के इतिहास में देश का सबसे बड़ा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में लॉन्च हुआ है और भारत माला ये देश की तस्वीर को बदलने वाला प्रोजेक्ट है.
Under the Bharat Mala Pariyojana, 28 ring roads have been planned. The project aims to decongest the corridor network with 185 identified choke points, 28 ring roads, 45 bypasses, 34 lane expansions and 12 other interventions have also been finalized.
फिर जो इकोनॉमिकली बैकवर्ड्स होने उसको प्रायोरिटी दी और इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ के लिए, इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट के लिए, पोर्ट कनेक्टिविटी के लिए क्या इंपॉर्टेंस है उसका अध्ययन किया ताकि ये पूरा इंटीग्रेटेड पैकेज देश की इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ को, इंजन को कैसे एक्सेलरेट करे.
The Bharat Mala project will also improve connectivity with neighboring countries, for which a total of 24 integrated checkpoints have been identified. The project will transit through Bangladesh to improve connectivity for the northeast. Bharat Mala will integrate Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal and the Myanmar-Thailand corridors to make the northeast a hub of East Asia. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the BSE Sensex and the NSE Nifty ended at record highs on Wednesday. The rise was backed by an increase in banks and infrastructure stocks after recapitalization and the highway projects boost. The 30-share BSE Sensex was up 435.16 points or 1.33%, ending at 33,042.50, while the 50-share NSE Nifty rose 87.70 points or 0.86% to close at 10,295.40. Earlier, the BSE Sensex soared to a lifetime high of 33,117.33 and the NSE Nifty scaled the historic 10,340.55 mark in opening trade. Banking stocks rose with the government announcing a mega 2.11 lakh crore rupees recapitalization plan for NPA-hit state-run lenders. SBI rallied 19.47%, while ICICI Bank and Axis Bank soared up to 8% in early trade. Going on to some other news now, US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, who is on a 2-day visit to India, met External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj and held wide-ranging talks with her. The two sides joined hands in telling Pakistan that it needs to do more in the war against terror. Tillerson, who visited Islamabad before coming to India, asked Pakistan to destroy safe havens for terrorists in its territory. Tillerson and Swaraj both said that this was imperative to ensuring peace and tranquility in the region. The US and India also decided a new mechanism on the designation of terrorists and terror groups in the future.
Delivering a blunt message, India and the US have asked Pakistan to dismantle terror safe havens in the country. After a meeting in Delhi, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj and US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson said that Islamabad needs to take concrete action against terror groups to ensure peace and security in the region, particularly in Afghanistan. The US has also asked Pakistan to give a roadmap on how they would go about doing this.
हम इस बात पर भी सहमत थे कि पाकिस्तान को उनके यहाँ स्थापित आतंकवादी संगठनों की सुरक्षित शरणगाहों को खत्म करने के लिए तुरंत कदम उठाने चाहिए. हमारा ऐसा विश्वास है कि राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप की नई रणनीति तभी सफल हो सकती है जब पाकिस्तान बिना किसी भेदभाव के सभी आतंकवादी संगठनों के खिलाफ प्रभावी कार्यवाही करे. भारत अफगानिस्तान की सरकार और अमेरिका सहित अंतर्राष्ट्रीय समुदाय के साथ मिलकर एक सुरक्षित, स्थायी, प्रगतिशील, शांतिपूर्ण और लोकतांत्रिक अफगानिस्तान के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है।
In our discussions with Pakistani leadership yesterday in Islamabad, we had a very open, frank exchange around the concerns the United States shares with other regional partners and allies, India, but also Afghanistan, that there are too many terrorist organizations that find a safe place in Pakistan from which to conduct their operations and attacks against other countries. We have extended to Pakistan certain expectations we have of their government and their leadership to deal with, in particular, these organizations, the leaders of these organizations, and we are attempting to put in place a mechanism of cooperation through information sharing, but not just information sharing, action.
Swaraj and Tillerson also discussed defense cooperation, with the US assuring India a supply of its best fighter jets and other military technology. India also raised the issue of H-1B visa, with Swaraj requesting Tillerson not to take action that might adversely affect Indians. The two leaders also discussed North Korea and Iran.
हमारा और DPRK का ट्रेड बहुत कम हो गया है, बहुत ही कम हो गया है। अगर मैं मिनिमल कहूँ तो गलत नहीं होगा। और जहाँ तक एम्बेसी का सवाल है, हमारी एम्बेसी का साइज़ वहाँ बहुत छोटा है, लेकिन एम्बेसी है। और मैंने सेक्रेटरी टिलरसन से कहा कि आपके कुछ मित्र देशों की एम्बेसी वहाँ रहनी चाहिए, ताकि कम से कम कुछ चैनल्स ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन खुले रहें। बहुत बार आपको बात करने की आवश्यकता पड़ती है, इस संवाद से चीज़ों को निपटाने की आवश्यकता पड़ेगी, तो कम से कम एक देश की एम्बेसी तो ऐसी हो जिसे आप अपना मित्र देश कहते हैं। और मुझे लगता है कि उन्होंने मेरी इस बात को बहुत समझदारी से लिया है।
And we do not want to harm the Iranian people. Our fight is not with the Iranian people. Our disagreements are with the revolutionary regime. So with that context, as we are taking actions to impose sanctions on the regime, and in particular the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, it's our objective to deny financing capacity and to disrupt the activities related to these malign behaviors.
Tillerson also met Prime Minister Narendra Modi and National Security Advisor Ajit Doval.
Synergy between India and US is developing very fast as far as the issues of terrorism and regional security is concerned. But it will be interesting to see that how far they converge on the issues of trade and services. This will be the real test of bonhomie between India and US in coming days. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Television with camera person Saroj in Delhi.
Well, the Congress has decided to file a case against the Rajasthan government if it does not completely withdraw the Criminal Laws Rajasthan Amendment Bill. Over a dozen Congress MLAs also sat on an overnight dharna inside the Rajasthan Assembly, demanding withdrawal of the bill that seeks to protect judges and public servants from investigation without prior sanction of the government. The bill was tabled in the Assembly on Monday, but the government referred it to a select committee of the Assembly on Tuesday after facing criticism from various quarters.
We demand full withdrawal of this black ordinance. There is no point in sending it to a select committee. This is just face saving, because now there is all-round criticism, and unfortunately the Chief Minister is being stubborn. She must accept that this was a mistake. We will challenge this ordinance because it's illegal, it's unconstitutional.
Well, here's a look now at what else is making news across the country in Nationwide. Gorkha Janmukti Morcha leader and councillor from Kalimpong, Barun Bujel, passed away at SSKM hospital today. He had chronic liver problem and pancreatitis, and his family members alleged there was a delay in treatment that resulted in his death. But GJM Chief Bimal Gurung alleged that it was police torture that led to Bujel's death and called on people to hit the streets in protest. Gurung appealed to the people to observe a day of mourning and also called for schools and colleges to remain shut. Veteran Congress leader Vidya Stokes today filed a petition in the Himachal Pradesh High Court against the rejection of her nomination papers. Stokes, who was to represent Congress at Kyog constituency, had filed her papers, but the STM cum returning officer rejected her papers on Tuesday, citing technical reasons. Meanwhile, Deepak Rathod has been named as the Congress's official candidate from Thiog. The Supreme Court today agreed to hear the Uttar Pradesh government's restoration plea against its order to demolish a multi-level car parking facility being built within a kilometre of the Taj Mahal on October 27th. The apex court had yesterday ordered demolition of the parking lot being constructed near the eastern gate of the 17th century monument. The Uttar Pradesh government's counsel mentioned the matter before a bench headed by Justice J. Chalameshwar and sought urgent hearing of the restoration application. Moving on to some international news now. The new lineup for the Chinese Communist Party's all-powerful Politburo Standing Committee was unveiled on Wednesday. Without an heir apparent to President Xi Jinping, analysts predict he will continue to dominate the country's politics for decades to come. Here's a detailed report.
A warm applause to greet the General Secretary and other Political Bureau Standing Committee members.
An elaborately choreographed ceremony to unveil the new members of the Senior Leadership Committee at the Great Hall of the People in Beijing. Leading the delegation was Chinese President Xi Jinping, who has cemented his grip on China for the next 5 years and possibly beyond. Breaking with tradition, the Chinese Communist Party unveiled new members of the leadership without including a clear successor to Xi. In his address, Xi outlined his vision for what he called China's new era.
在刚才召开的中共19届一中全会上，选举产生了新一届中共中央领导机构。全会选举我继续担任中共中央委员会总书记，这是对我的肯定，更是鞭策和激励。
5 new appointments were made to the 7-member Politburo Standing Committee, China's most powerful body. Apart from Xi, Premier Li Keqiang was the only one who retained his spot. Chinese leaders have in recent decades hinted at one or more possible heirs in the Standing Committee. There had been speculation that Xi would elevate his protege, Chen Minir, and Guangdong Party Secretary Hu Chunhua, both of whom are in their 50s, young enough to be credible successors. But they were both named in the wider 25-member Politburo, a rung below the Standing Committee.
中国共产党和中国人民从苦难中走过来，深知和平的珍贵，发展的价值。中国人民自信、自尊，将坚定维护国家主权、安全、发展利益。 同时，将同各国人民一道。
People on the streets of Beijing welcomed the news, claiming that Xi will continue to be a beacon of hope. But outside China, reactions have been cautious.
毛爷爷去打天下的这种风范，因为咱们国家就是这当时的毛主席带领着一路走过来的嘛，然后说在他身上就看到了毛主席的影子，然后让人们在某些程度和方面上特别鼓舞这个人们对于这个中国发展的这种士气，这种感觉非常好，确实很好。
All of these upholds are new in the sense that it is announcing a new era, but it is old in the sense that it is absolutely maintaining the same role at heart for people and for the party and for law, and that is law and the people are both instruments of party rule and of the party vision, and to be instruments of carrying out that vision. So frankly, there's not a lot of space for independent voices.
As far as policies go, foreign affairs and the economy seem to be Xi's main focus. His economic advisor and top diplomat were promoted to the Politburo, showing that those portfolios will take on greater importance in his second term. The Politburo and its Standing Committee are stacked with Xi's allies, paving the way for smoother policy implementation. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, here's a roundup now, some news from the world of sports in Sports Beat. India beat New Zealand by 6 wickets in the second ODI to level the three-match series 1-1. Shikhar Dhawan and Dinesh Karthik made 50s to clinch the victory after Bhuvneshwar Kumar picked up 3 wickets for 45 runs to restrict New Zealand to 230 for 9. Colin de Grandhomme top scored for the Kiwi side with 41 runs, but there were few contributions from the top order batsmen. England beat Brazil 3-1 in the FIFA Under-17 World Cup to enter the finals of the tournament. Ryan Brewster scored a hat-trick to guide them to their maiden FIFA Under-17 World Cup final. Brewster scored the opener to make it 1-0, but Wesley scored from a rebound to level the game. Brewster then scored the second just before half-time and finished his hat-trick with a goal in the 77th minute. Manchester City defeated Wolverhampton Wanderers 4-1 in a penalty shootout after the game ended 0-0 in the Carabao Cup. Claudio Bravo made crucial saves in normal time and in the penalty shootout for Manchester City. Leo Bonatini scored the opener for the Wolves, but Bravo's saves and successful spot kicks by Kevin De Bruyne, Yaya Toure and Sergio Aguero helped Manchester City seal the victory. In tennis, Roger Federer defeated American Francis Tiafoe 6-1, 6-3 in his first-round match at the Swiss indoors in his hometown Basel. Tiafoe started well, but Federer bounced back and took the first set 6-1. Federer will face Francis Benoit pair in the second round. In the WTA finals, Czech Republic's third-seeded Karolina Pliskova defeated Spain's Garbine Muguruza 6-2, 6-2 in just 62 minutes to advance to the last four. Earlier, Pliskova defeated America's Venus Williams in straight sets in the opening match. Williams and Muguruza will face each other to decide who will advance along with Pliskova. And finally, it was a big loss to the classical singing fraternity. Eminent classical singer and Padma Vibhushan awardee Girija Devi passed away in Kolkata last evening. The eminent singer from the Senia and Banaras Gharana was admitted at the BM Birla Hospital in Kolkata in the afternoon after complaining of chest pain. President Ramnath Kovind, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have condoled her death. Indeed, a big loss for the classical music fraternity, but she will be fondly remembered. That's it on this edition of News Tonight. See you again next time.